Hi. Trolley problems involve a forced choice between remaining passive and allowing something to happen, or intervening with the promise of generating a higher utility outcome, one dead versus three dead, in the classic trolley problem. In addition to being overused almost to the point of cliche in pop culture, I think trolley problems suffer from a realism problem. There are no trolleys anymore, and so inviting somebody to imagine what they would do if they were the only person with the power to divert a runaway trolley might draw, with some justification, the criticism that the moral intuitions being unearthed by the thought experiment are not the ones that a person would rely upon in a real-life crisis. What I've put into this video are 8 realistic trolley problems. These are scenarios that involve a forced choice between a high utility option and a principled option, but in contexts that are easier for ordinary people to imagine ourselves in nowadays. Some of these are grounded in historical events, others are more imaginative. Some of them involve your choice to intervene to generate a high utility option. Others involve your intervening to generate a principled outcome in the scenario. These are excerpted from a longer series of shorts that I made previously. Check out that playlist if you'd like to see more. I hope you find these stimulating and perhaps good conversation starters. Here they are.
It is 1940, and you are the head of a British intelligence unit that interrogates German prisoners of war. Some of the 150 inmates in your custody may have important war-related information that your superiors could use. However, most prisoners probably have no relevant information. Stakes are high for Great Britain in the current phase of the war. France has fallen, and the Luftwaffe is bombing British cities. Therefore, your superiors demand quick results by any means. An aide suggests systematically torturing all the prisoners to get war-related information. This would clearly break the Geneva Convention, which requires you to protect all people who are no longer fighting, including prisoners of war. If you decide to torture all 150 prisoners, you will probably gain information that will save thousands of British lives. If you obey the Geneva Convention, you might lose crucial life-saving information. How appropriate is it for you to torture the prisoners? After a long term of imprisonment for child sex trafficking, Ghislaine Maxwell is released. She wants to found a non-profit organization to assist young victims of crime. You are the head of the non-profit organization division of the Internal Revenue Service, and you must decide whether to approve her application. Maxwell would offer a seed capital of $4 million, sufficient to fund the group long after her death. However, the foundation would bear her name, and it is unclear whether she is acting out of remorse or simply wishes to rehabilitate her name. The families of her victims strongly oppose such a foundation, calling it immoral and repulsive. If you reject the application, Maxwell will keep her money. If you approve it, crime victims will be helped by the foundation's activities, now and in the future. How appropriate is it for you to reject the application? You are a leader of the Native American Cherokee in 1830. The U.S. Congress has decided to relocate all southern Native American tribes to the west. So far, you have opposed moving because forced relocation violates your rights, which are guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court has ruled in your favor, but you know that white settlers and the U.S. President will not accept your refusal to move. Not moving will inevitably mean war with U.S. armed forces, which you have no chance to win. If you advocate for voluntary relocation, chances will be high that your tribe can move without bloodshed, but you will irrevocably give up your tribe's traditional territory. If you further advocate against relocation, there will be war with U.S. armed forces, and many of your fellow tribe members will die. How appropriate is it for you to continue resisting relocation? It is 1987, and you are on a ferry from Belgium to England. Suddenly, the ferry starts tilting and water begins to pour in. You and many other passengers are trying to get back to the deck by a rope ladder. You are currently halfway up the ladder. Directly above you, a man who seems frozen into immobility by fear or cold is blocking the ladder. You try to speak to him, but he does not react. People behind you are jostling. The ship seems to be sinking fast, and the man above you is still blocking the ladder. From the crowd below, someone shouts that you should push the man off. If you push the man off the ladder, he will probably die, but you and the other people will be able to climb on deck. If you do not push the man off the ladder, he will probably continue blocking the way, so that many of the people behind you will not be able to get on deck, and therefore will drown. How appropriate is it for you to push the man off the ladder? You are the British Prime Minister during World War II, when the Germans are beginning to hit London with long-range missiles. Most missiles land south of the city center, where no important military installations are located. Rather, it is a mostly residential district populated by poorer classes. The population density is comparatively low, leading to fewer casualties than if the bombs hit their intended targets. The Germans know roughly, but not exactly, where their bombs are hitting. By spreading wrong information through spies, you could make them believe that their bombs are hitting the city center. As a result, they would not improve their aim, leading to bombs continuing to hit the less populated southern residential areas. If you do not spread wrong information, the Germans will probably improve their aim and hit vital military installations with higher casualties. If you do spread wrong information, the bombs will probably continue killing many poorer people in the south of London. How appropriate is it for you to spread wrong information? You are the American project leader on a development aid team in Rwanda in 1994. All over the country, members of the ethnic Hutu group are attacking members of the Tutsi group. The family of one of your Tutsi employees is hiding inside your agency's center. Another employee arrives and tells you that he has just witnessed his whole family and another of your Tutsi employees being killed by a Hutu militia. Shortly afterwards, an armed mob gathers outside your center. Their leader threatens to attack the building and kill everyone inside unless you hand over the employee who just arrived. If you protect your employee, the mob will probably attack the center and kill many people, including the family you have already hidden. If you hand over your employee, he will be killed, but you and the other people under your care will be safe. How appropriate is it for you to protect your employee? You are the French president. 6 months ago, 10 of your citizens were taken hostage by terrorists in the Sahara Desert. You must now decide whether to pay a ransom of several million euros. Negotiations and military action to free the hostages have been tried, but did not succeed. In the 6 months of captivity, one female hostage has died. The terrorists have just given you a 48-hour ultimatum. Similar situations in the past have shown that terrorists use the ransom money to buy weapons and kill even more people. Furthermore, future civilian kidnappings will become more likely if you pay. If you pay the ransom, you can save the remaining 9 hostages. If you do not pay, the hostages will be killed, but you will deprive the terrorists of funds, which will probably save more lives in the long run. How appropriate is it for you to pay the ransom? You are an English physician in 1796. A colleague believes infection with the harmless cowpox virus may have made his patients immune to the dangerous smallpox virus. Smallpox is highly contagious and often deadly. If an infection with cowpox really gives immunity against smallpox, many lives would be saved by infecting people with cowpox. You consider testing this theory by infecting a patient first with cowpox and then exposing them to smallpox. However, doing so would endanger this person's life. You cannot test the procedure on yourself because you have already survived smallpox and are immune. You search for volunteers, but the only offer is from your gardener, who suggests his 8-year-old son. If you infect the boy with both diseases, you will risk his life, but will be able to test the immunization procedure, which might save many lives. If you do not infect the boy, you will not endanger him, but you cannot test the procedure, and people will continue to die of smallpox. How appropriate is it for you to expose the boy to cowpox and smallpox?